West Plains Fire Department, Station 2. This is a car that we're going to be converting into a propane car fire prop. Got a lot of work to do to it. At this point we've got to take the engine and transmission, any kind of extra weight that we can pull out of the car, we're going to take out to use it for a propane prop. This is a before clip, and as we progress with the project we'll do other videos and then a finished video along with some of our other propane props that we've built for the department. So this is the beginning of the project right here. Car fire prop, now that it's pretty close to being finished, we've got a detachable tongue. It attaches like a Reese hitch so that we can jack it up, hook it on the back of a truck, and that lifts the front tires off the ground and it just trailers on the back tires. Here is the engine fire. You can see the pipe just barely showing in the front, and that runs down both sides inside the simulated engine. And right here, the pipe runs into the firewall, and then we've got it running out on the passenger side of the car are the connections that run out so that we can plug into it with our hose coming from propane tanks and our controls. These are the 100-pound propane cylinders that we use to operate this prop and the hoses, and then you just have a simple quarter turn valve that you can control the flow with and then completely shut it off if you need to. This is just another quarter turn type of valve. And these are just air hoses, heavy duty air hoses with air hose connections that we use to connect to our car prop. So in the back of the car we have this framework of piping that runs around, just makes a square and then comes out the side, and that's just to simulate a cargo area fire. Then in the passenger compartment we have another simple square that runs all the way around, and if you look at this pipe up close you can see that it just has these small, I think they're 5/16 if I remember correctly, little holes drilled in where the gas comes out, holes drilled about every 6 inches. We also have one you can't see very well, just runs straight through about the middle of the dash to make a dash fire. You'll see that in the fire video. The one that we have painted is the engine fire. That's just to separate the engine fire from the dash fire. So it's just a quick walk around of the car fire prop that we've created out of this old junk car. We'll probably clean it up some more, paint it, make it look a little bit more realistic, like it's actually a roadworthy car, and then we'll start training with it. West Plains Fire Department. This is our residential propane training prop. Right now we're filling it up with water to test something that we just added to it. Now water keeps the tank cool while the belly fire is going. This pipe that runs out and runs straight through the bottom, that's the belly fire. On the other side of that pipe we have the holes drilled that create the fire underneath the tank. And then this drain plug you can see right here that we can use to drain the tank once we've finished our training. This pipe that tees off, it goes up behind the cap, and you notice it's got a little spout on it that points toward that pipe coming up. That pipe coming up is our mock-up of a pop-off valve, and it has a single line that runs straight through the tank and then elbows off out with the other pipe. To activate that pop-off, we first start the belly fire, and we light this little tip right here, and that tip just kind of has a small fire going until you crank up the pressure on the belly fire, and then you turn on the propane for the pop-off, and it literally pops off and fires up just like a pop-off would, and you can put it out and just continue to light it up over and over again. Now, inside the cap on this propane tank, we still have the original valve to turn the tank on and off. The gauge, which you can't really see anymore, fogged over. But we try to keep this looking as realistic as possible. Keep it looking like it's still in use. And right here you can see the two lines that run out. The line that's back up in there a little ways is the belly fire. And then this line is the line that goes straight up to the pop-off valve. And this is the side of the tank that the fire will actually be attacked from. And you can see by the blackening on the tank where the belly fire comes up from underneath. And you can see a little bit better now where the pop-off line elbows off and goes up. In a little while I'll light this up and show it to you in action. Again, this is our residential propane fire prop. Here's the dumpster fire in action. As you can see, you can get quite a bit of fire out of this prop. There's a 14-mile-an-hour wind today, and the wind doesn't seem to be affecting it at all. This is a work in progress. Hope to have it finished today. This is going to be our Class A compliance burn for basic firefighter 1 and 2. It can be used for extinguisher training and also 1.5-inch attack training on Class A materials. The outside of it is all 2x4 scrap that we've just built up into a frame, and then down inside we have this square frame tubing. It's just going to act like a burner. Okay, and it runs out and has our typical fitting on the end to hook into our propane tank. And that burner is going to be simply used to light the straw that will be in here time after time. You know, the first time the straw is going to light really easy, but once it's wet, it's going to take a little bit more to get it going. So we can use this propane burner to fuel the straw. It'll actually be the straw burning, the propane just aiding it. Again, this is just a compliance prop to simulate a Class A burn. Okay, this is the Class A burn prop. I'm going to add a little gas to the straw that's already on fire. Okay, he's using a garden hose just to kind of keep the wood cooled down, but you can see just the straw smoldering. The straw is soaking wet right now, but have a pretty good roaring fire, or you can have a small fire for an extinguisher, or anything in between.